funny.
So
All right. So anyway, hey everybody, I'm Amy Gardner. And I one of my favorite things to do is demoing and making recipes, and sharing that because with people, right? So little tips for when you are doing an in-home party. So first of all, uh you give your host option. So do you want to see, you want to make some salsa, you want to make some guacamole, and I like to give two recipes. All right, just two choices. You give them more, then it can be overwhelming. And then I also like to choose a product, recipes for a product that I want to show off, right? So there's a lot of times that I'll go for either guacamole or salsa. Sometimes we do both, and sometimes we do margaritas. But anyway, depending on um, our uh, who our audience is, right? So, and then second thing I do is I ask my host. Well, it's up to you. If you want to ask your host to purchase the ingredients, or if you want to purchase the ingredients. So, because sometimes I don't, I just ask because I don't eat at the parties. I was always taught that I don't consume whatever it is that we eat there, but I do talk about how I love it, right? Because we love these recipes that we're sharing with them. And um, for prepping for before the party, I always make sure that I write out a list of the different products that I'm going to need. Okay, so for the different things. And then while you're at the party, I always try to get volunteers to come up and help out, and throughout the whole demonstration, which I'm actually going to just give you all these tips now. And I'm going to show you how I demonstrate at the party. All right, so but something that else that I do is I give tips throughout, right? You're always giving tips, you're always telling stories, you want to be captivating, you want to make it look super easy, right? And so that more people be like, I could do that, right? Right? They can do that. And then that's how you start getting getting new people on your team, getting those recruits. And I always recommend to practice beforehand, um, uh, because you can have a goof. I will never forget one of my very first demos that I did. I did not practice it beforehand. I was new. It was like my first month, and I said I would make a cake, and well, it was fun. I did it wrong, but that's okay. So I learned from me, practice at home, all right, before you go and do the recipe. So anyway, I am making a salsa, and I'm going to go ahead and just do what I do at the parties. Now, if I don't have other people up helping me, this is how we do it. So always start with your I story because you want to let people know a little bit about you. So I've been selling Tupperware for 11 years now, and I absolutely love it. I love the products because they are awesome at keeping, well, helping us in the kitchen save time, save money, and make some really fun, really easy recipes. So I do have recipe cards for everybody. So print off your recipe cards, all right? And you can even do this for your virtual parties, all right? So and also for your virtual parties, you can also write down notes and hide them behind your camera. If you're in an in-home party, you can use note cards and use those. Okay. So for many, many years, I always had note cards with me. So, but always have recipe cards. Okay. So you can share the recipe at the end, and then little gifts as well. So, I'm going to be showing off the supersonic chopper. It is amazing for making different things. You can make salsas, which we're going to do tonight. You can make different kinds of salad, like chicken salad in here, because this actually shreds up your chicken really nicely. Just make sure you are watching your pull, because if you don't want it super tiny, then just pull it a couple of times. All right. Um, and you can, uh, you, there's so many different things that you can do in here. You can make tons of different recipes, and we have recipes on our website. And so, plus you do get a recipe tonight for this salsa. All right. So we have our stainless steel blades, which are super sharp. All right. And so I always recommend to keep on the guard. This way, even especially if you have like little fingers around the house, that you don't have to worry about them maybe knocking this over and cutting themselves um, because it has the blade cover on there. All right, so go ahead and we put our blades in here. Now, when this comes, in case you don't know, this little guy, this little rubber silicone piece that's on the bottom, which helps it from moving all over the place, it will come on the inside. So make sure you take that out, all right, for when you purchase yours and you put it on the bottom of your container, all right? So we have our blades in here. Plus, it does come with a whip attachment, so you can make some amazing homemade mayonnaise. All right. So I am going to now, this is so simple. There's only a few ingredients. All right. It calls for garlic, which I have some garlic that I actually froze. And it's still nice and good, right? And I have an onion. I'm going to go ahead and cut part of this onion. Now, did you know that on this root side, that is actually where all those stinky things are? So if you aren't using a whole onion, make sure that you wait and cut that part last. All right. So, but this is a small onion, so I'm just going to quarter it really quick and then throw it in my chopper. Now, this chopper, you can chop a whole onion and it can be a bigger onion and it will chop within seconds, like 40, under a minute. So for about 40 seconds for a regular size onion, and it is nice and diced. All right, now if you want it like if you would rather have it not so diced, then just pull it a couple times. Otherwise, 5 times and it's pretty much chopped pretty good. Right? So I mean, it's sticking to me. Now, before I sold Tupperware, I did not chop onions unless they were green onions, because I would cry every single time. And I'm going to actually set this aside. A little strong. All right. But it's really nice because when you're chopping it in here, you don't get all those major scents, right? Okay, so I guess I do need that again though, because we have our jalapeno. All right, so did you know that you can get this little mini by hosting your own party? So let's help out our lovely hostess by you hosting your own fun party. All right, and you can get some of the awesome benefits as well. So I'm going to go ahead and just chop off the end. And oops, if I cut down the center, and then we have all that stuff on the inside. So don't want to actually touch all that because this is where all that heat is. And so I have a melon baller here, but you can also use a citrus peeler to get this out without even touching it. All right.
Just I have to wait.
You could use a melon baller if you wanted to, or you can just use this. And these are available for party gifts. All right, guys. So and the melon baller might be in, I'm not sure, in our party pack. All right. Oh gosh. My dog's a little crazy. She's a fly. So she's like trying to get it. All right, so I have my jalapeno here. And just so you can see how the melon baller works, you just put it down the center and all that stuff will come out. Super easy. And a little bit of seeds is fine. So we like a little bit of heat. Now, if you don't want any heat, then take all those seeds out. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and put my seed, my lid back on. Peppers, set those aside. and push that aside. And we're going to get our cilantro. Now, if you don't know about these fridge smarts, they are amazing and they're going to save everybody so much money. The average household is like $1,600 a year. What would you do with $1,600 a year? Would you spend it on maybe a trip, or maybe you would take it and save it, or go shopping? What would you do? Put it towards a credit card? All right. So love the fridge smarts for saving money because you're not throwing away any of your produce that you're going to the store and getting. Now, if you don't like cilantro, because either you love it or you hate it, right? There's some people are like, oh my gosh, I cannot stand cilantro. Then you can just take it out. Okay. But if you like it, definitely add it in here because it just gives it that little bit more of flavor. Okay. So, and if you noticed, I used our kitchen shears. Love, love, love our kitchen shears for cutting up any of our food. So I actually use these to cut lots of stuff, especially when the kids are little. All right, you can cut up their hot dogs, you can cut up their pizza. There's so many things that you can use that with. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and chop this stuff up, and we're going to add some tomatoes to it. Whoops. Okay, that happened. All right, so I like it diced. So that was 8 poles, and look at that. Doesn't that look awesome? Smells delicious too. So we have that in there. Now, did you know that we have our zest and press back again? This thing is amazing. So a little bit of zest helps add a little bit more texture to recipes, but it also helps support your heart. It reduces asthma and it can promote healthy skin. All right. So add that zest. All right. So it's because it's good for you. Now I have a half of a lime that I started to zest the other day. But now you can definitely take this and put it right over top of the press because there is that nice big divot down inside of there. And so you can just go like that right inside of there. Or I just do it over top of whatever recipe it is that I'm using. So we love and we have been making since my son, who I think is behind me, um since he was like 3, we've been making homemade lemonade, and he absolutely loves it. So uh if you want to see that homemade lemonade recipe, then make sure that you are booking your next party and then we'll make some of that. All right. But then you're going to take your lemon or your lime and you're going to face the seed part, the juicy part down. All right. It will catch all the seeds and it will not fly back in your face. So, and then you just take it and you squeeze it and it squeezes all this juice out. Let me see if I can start it. Show you. Look at all that juice. It actually turns it inside out, which is really cool. All right. It's not little anymore, like when I started. All right. So you can see it turned it inside out. Say hi. But a half of a lemon will fit really nicely down inside of your snack cup. All right. So we have the lemon juice in there. Now we're going to use a can of tomatoes. Now, if you're like, a can of tomatoes for salsa, let me tell you what. My grandma loves salsa. She would grow, I don't know how many tomatoes, different kinds of tomatoes, like probably at least 10, what'd you say? Oh, like 35. I guess she would have 35 different plants. All right. And tons of tomatoes. So when I made this recipe and I shared the salsa with her, she's like, oh, what kind of tomato is that? And I'm like, actually, it's a can of diced tomatoes. So when our can comes available, make sure you snag it up because it will be your most favorite can opener that you have ever had. All right. So it's great. Did you hear that? It did a little click thing, and that means that it went all the way around. But it's great if you have carpal tunnel. It's great if you have arthritis. And it's great for if you have like little cats that you open up a little can of cat food for, right? Or dogs, I don't know. But because this isn't sharp and this isn't sharp. So you're not going to cut any of those little fur babies out. All right. So we're gonna just dump this inside. And we do have a pretty amazing Southwest Chipotle seasoning recipe. So if you don't have that, you need to get that. But I'm just going to use some oregano for tonight. All right. And from our spice shaker, just toss that in there. Just a little sprinkle. And then you're going to pull until it incorporates everything. All right. So, and you get a beautiful salsa. Look at that. Now, if you want to, you can always, I'm going to actually pull it just a couple more. So I don't like my tomatoes a little bit small. All right, that's pretty good. Now, look at that. So good. Now you can definitely put this in a smaller bowl, or if you're like, I don't want to, I just want to leave it inside of that. Guess what? Did you know that we have some pretty amazing bowls? They're called microwave cereal bowls, and they come with a seal. Now that seal will also fit on your supersonic chopper. So you can save those dishes for later. Isn't that awesome? All right, so who wants to be the next person to date the party and have some salsa? Now, that's how I would do my whole demo, whether it's virtual or in person, but I do try to talk while everybody is cooking, all right, and give all those fun little tips while they are working. Now, it will take a little bit longer just because you are telling them how to do this, how to do everything while you're doing it, but you're having fun with it, and people that come up and help with the recipe, they get tickets. I do tickets, all right, when at my parties. And at the end, they turn in, I pull the tickets out and then I give away gifts. So like this melon baller, if that's available, or the citrus peelers, and everybody gets a recipe card though. All right, as long as they want it. So just remember, have fun and let them use the products, because when you're letting them use the products, then they can fall in love with the products and be like, that was easy. Yeah, it's super easy. All right, Pam, back to you.